A very good afternoon. Welcome to Premier League Live this weekend as we kick off another huge weekend in the Premier League. And it all starts this lunchtime with a West London derby at the Gtech Community Stadium. Brentford taking on Fulham. Two sides chasing European football for next season. And a lot on the line as the season continues to come to a close. 6 games left for everybody in the league. But who will occupy those crucial spots? We will find out over the next few weeks. A busy weekend in the Premier League. 5 games taking place across this afternoon and this evening. Brentford Fulham is the 12:30 kickoff. Leeds Wolves and Newcastle Bournemouth kick off at 3 o'clock. Brighton's trip to Spurs at 5:30, and Chelsea taking on Manchester United at 8 o'clock tonight. Then tomorrow, Aston Villa face Sunderland, Everton face Liverpool, and Burnley head to Nottingham Forest. They're all 2 o'clock kickoffs tomorrow. And Manchester City Arsenal is the game of the week, our feature game at 4:30 tomorrow in the title decider at the Etihad. And we round off with Monday night action from South London as another London derby concludes the weekend as Crystal Palace face West Ham United at Sellers Park. So a busy weekend of Premier League action to come. But before all that, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the race for Europe, because this is the way it stands coming into the weekend. Chelsea at the moment lead the way with these mid-table teams. Just 4 points separate 6th place to 12th place in the table. 48 points are Chelsea on in a current... They're meant to be the other way around, actually. Orange is what Chelsea should be in a Europa League place. Brentford would be in a Europa Conference League place on 47 points as it stands. Now, there are a possibility that 8th could be a European spot, and there is also a possibility that we could have 10 teams in Europe next season. All those permutations will, of course, unfold between now and the end of the season. But Fulham come into this one today knowing if they win, they will be level on points with Brentford and possibly a chance to go above them in the table. We need a big goal swing for that to be the case, but that is still all possible if there is certainly the will for Fulham today, who have a good record against Brentford in the last couple of games. But look at how tight that battle for Europe is. So many teams in the mix. And if you go just below that, 13th and 14th. 13th place Crystal Palace on 42 points. And 14th place Newcastle also on 42 points. Which means it's just 6 points between 6th and 14th. Which means it is very much up for grabs for 9 teams fighting for just a handful of places in Europe next season. If Brentford, though, win today, they would go within 2 points of 5th place Liverpool, would leapfrog Chelsea in the table before they play Man United a little later, and put a bit of pressure on those teams in the top 5, which would be an incredible feat for this Brentford side, who were tipped to be relegated this season, never mind talking about Europe. And in terms of the remaining games for these two, some difficult away trips for Brentford, a trip to Old Trafford, the Etihad and Anfield in their final 3 away games, and their last 3 home games, including today's game, are all London derbies against Fulham, West Ham and Crystal Palace. For the other side of West London, well, again, some difficult games to come for Fulham, including their next 2 after this game. Aston Villa at home, followed by Arsenal away in the next 2 games. Then Bournemouth at home is not an easy fixture. Bournemouth unbeaten in 12, and their last 2 will be tough, but certainly you'd say they would be backed to do well in those games of away to Wolves and at home to Newcastle on the final day. But in terms of these two, well, Fulham have won each of the last 3 meetings between the two sides and done the double over Brentford last season, and winning 3-2 here at the Gtech. They will be welcomed to try and do it again after a 3-1 victory in the reverse fixture at the start of the season. The last time Brentford got anything out of this game was the season before last, and that was towards the end of the campaign, and a 0-0 draw here between the sides. The last time they won was back in August 2023 when Brentford won 3-0 at Craven Cottage. But it's to today's action. Huge game in West London. The bragging rights as well as massive points in the table are up for grabs. And let's start with Brentford and their starting 11. Caoimhan Ferris starts in goal. Michael Coyote, Sepp Vandenberg, Nathan Collins the captain and Keane Lewis Potter in defence. Matthias Jensen and Juha Jarmoljurk are in midfield, with Mikkel Damsgaard in the 10. Dango Ouattara and Kevin Shada are the wingers, with Igor Thiago just one goal off the leading scorer in the league, Erling Haaland. He leads the line. Valdimarsson, Hickey, Pinnock, Ayer, Stevenson, Nelson, Bent, Shield and Donovan all on the Brentford bench. Well, for Fulham, off the back of their 2-0 defeat to Liverpool last week, they come into this one looking to restore their push for Europe in this latter stage of the season. Bernd Leno starts in goal. Timothy Castagne, Joachim Andersen, Calvin Bassey and Ryan Sessegnon make up the defence. Tom Kearney is alongside Sasa Lukic in midfield. Kearney, of course, the captain. Emil Smith-Rowe in the 10. Harry Wilson and Alex Iwobi will occupy the wings, with Rodrigo Muniz up front. Well, for Marco Silva's side on the bench, Lecomte, Diop, Robinson, Reid, Berger, King, Bob, Chukwueze and Jimenez. Two teams not only looking for 3 points today, but a little bit of bragging rights in this West London derby. It's Fulham who've had it all their own way against Brentford over the last couple of games, but Brentford are a different outfit, it seems, this season. And can Keith Andrews continue these fans dreaming of a European trip for the first time in the club's history? And a win would go a long way into helping that this afternoon. Kick-off between Brentford and Fulham in this West London derby at the Gtech Community Stadium to kick off match day 33 in the Premier League is on the way next. A very good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us for this one at the Gtech at this lunchtime. Ready to get underway. Keith Andrews, what a job he's done for Brentford this season. As I said, many tipped them to be relegated at the start of the season, including me. But they have completely subverted that expectation and are now on the verge of a possible trip to Europe for the first time in their history. For Fulham as well, if they win today, they will catapult themselves right back into that European conversation and give themselves a chance to dream for the first time in over 15 years since they were last in European competition. And they got all the way to the Europa League final back in 2010, did Fulham. Dreaming of those days to return to Craven Cottage again. Well, tonight there is a huge game across West London between Chelsea and Man United. But this one starts the day in the capital. Brentford against Fulham. Huge game in terms of local bragging, but huge in terms of European places up for grabs. Brentford can jump to 6th, leapfrog Chelsea this afternoon if they win. A draw would get them level on points before they play later Chelsea. As Brentford get us underway. Brentford, of course, in their home strip, red and white shirts, black shorts, black socks. And Fulham in their away strip this afternoon of that kind of pale green colour, kind of that luminous green. All the way top to bottom. Well, that's an intriguing kickoff there from Brentford, who've won a corner right from the off here. It's an incredible decision. I'm seeing a lot of unique kickoffs now in across Europe. Dango Ouattara whips in the early corner, left-footed, cleared away at the near post. As Fulham certainly won't go missing in this game. You'll certainly see all 10 of their outfield players in that luminous colour. They won't get lost, certainly not. As that ball straight out of play from Caoimhan Kelleher. He's had a fantastic season, Kelleher, in the Brentford goal. He's done a great job for them this season, of course, making that move from Liverpool over the summer. Kept 8 clean sheets this season in the Premier League, albeit made some great saves against Everton and still conceded 2 goals. Shows how good that game between Brentford and Everton were last week here in that 2-2 draw. Here's Sepp van den Berg, back to Kelleher. Bit of a Fulham press on here as Collins ekes it out to the left side for Keane Lewis Potter, and the ball breaks to Shada. Lovely little flick by Jensen, and Lewis Potter making the run down the left. And his first touch just lets him down as he took it in the air. Ultimately runs it out for a Fulham throw, but Really good interchange of play there from Brentford. Really good in between the lines movement. Fulham with the play here. Sessegnon breaking forward from left back. Lays it out wide to Alex Iwobi. Chance here for Fulham to attack. Iwobi's ball was ever so threatening and just couldn't find the toes of his man there. Is it Sasa Lukic maybe that was making that run, or was it Emil Smith-Rowe? Yeah, Sasa Lukic got himself in a really strong position. The ball was just about a half yard in front of him. A little bit closer, and it could have been a huge chance there for Fulham right from the off. Another long Brentford ball, and this time we'll just bobble out behind for a goal kick. Two sides with some very good Premier League players in the teams. And you look at the lineups and you think, he's a good player, he's a good player, he's a good player. That's credit to the two managers and squads that have been assembled by these two teams. Marco Silva's done an incredible job with Fulham over the last number of years, keeping them as a stable, strong Premier League side. I think they've kind of overtaken Crystal Palace as being the ultimate mid-table side, Fulham, recently. They're good enough to not be dragged into any sort of relegation fight or bottom of the table fight, but not quite at that level to just break the barrier into Europe. They're just in that little mix zone at the minute, Fulham. Who knows, a strong end to the season, and they could very much get themselves into a fight for Europe between now and the end of the campaign. It could all start with a win here today and take them level on points with Brentford and Everton as well, who are both on 47. Fulham on 44 coming into this one. And try the switch ball there, and that's over hits over the head of Michael Coyote, and behind for a Brentford goal kick. And look at that, somebody's got out on their balcony to watch this one. It's a unique part of the Gtech Community Stadium. There's I don't know whether it's, I think it is apartments on the outside of the stadium. But if you're high enough and up, you can come out your balcony and watch a game of football for free. It's a unique part of the Gtech. That's nice play there by Yarmolyuk. Back to Kelleher, and now lays it off to Nathan Collins. Leading this side from the back, Nathan Collins. Vandenberg drifting into space, finding the runner of Shada there, who was brought down by Sasa Lukic, and he's going to get a yellow card. A card that matches the colour of his shirt there, Sasa Lukic. Yeah, Kevin Shada just tugged back by Sasa Lukic there. It is a foul, and according to the referee, it is a yellow card as well. First yellow card of the game, taken quickly there by Brentford, and Ouattara made the run in behind, but the ball just evaded him. The bounce of it off Jensen's free kick there. Might have just strayed offside anyway, Dango Ouattara, but nice idea. A little bit less on it from Jensen. It could have been more threatening. Bit of head tennis here, as that's nice play there from Dango Ouattara to get it back to Coyote. Drifts in midfield and lays it back to Kelleher. Collins to Kelleher. Collins going to go long this time, looking for the run of Shada down that left. Shada making a nuisance of himself against Joachim Andersen. And ultimately, he had the last touch there. Shada. So a Fulham throw. Well, one thing I do like about, I'm going to talk about kits for a minute, because Fulham in their, I think it's their third kit, and a lot of teams have gone for this kind of retro style look with their third kits this season, and Fulham's is the most unique because their old logo, it's like a government department logo. It's really old school, and it's just that little novelty. I mean, it's a small thing, but it's certainly unique from Fulham, I have to say. I think they have the most unorthodox old logo of Premier League sides. I've seen a couple of teams go with it this season. Bassey. Kearney making the run angled wide and maybe tried to think of a shot at goal there, Tom Kearney, from such range, but Gallagher had that all under control. Well, if you did talk about an underdog, a team that no one really gave a chance to be competing in the Premier League this season, it was Brentford. A lot of teams thought, a lot of people thought, yeah, Brentford will be nowhere near it this season. Keith Andrews, never been a manager before. The loss of Thomas Frank, such a huge figure at this football club, and then losing some of their key attacking players as well, would all come crumbling down at Brentford. But it shows how well run this football club is. It's such transition in the summer hasn't derailed their plans, and probably has gone the opposite direction for them, pushed them further forward. Corner it is then for Brentford. Right hand side. And bringing on a couple of the tall ones. Two centre backs up here, Vandenberg and Collins. Dango Ouattara to deliver this. Goes short this time though. And Jensen swung him with the right foot, and the header is directed wide by Igor Thiago. Well, you would have bet your house on him finding the net from that position. 21 league goals this season, Igor Thiago. A record breaker for Brentford. No Brentford player in the top flight has ever scored more than 20 goals in a single season. Igor Thiago becomes the first to do that after his brace against Everton here last week. And his header there left a lot to be desired. Directed it well off target from a pretty comfortable range. They wanted a foul there, Brentford, given away though cheaply. Here's Harry Wilson to come away with a chance for Fulham. And he's actually hit his own player in Rodrigo Muniz there, in having that shot. Muniz got in the way of it. And that is going to be a throw-in to Brentford. I mean, we see it here. Yeah, Vandenberg just took a tumble. They wanted a foul for it, Brentford, but referee Paul Tierney said play on. And as Harry Wilson angled his shot well, ultimately it was his own player that blocked it. Denied him a clean shot at goal. And of course, I remember that it is a dedicated weekend to the No Room for Racism campaign in the Premier League, a campaign that has gone leaps and bounds over the last few years to reiterate the message that discrimination is not acceptable in football in this society either. And of course, great to see that message continues to be represented and continually supported, as it is desperately needed. Here's Tom Kearney. Wide to Sessegnon. Back it comes to Lukic under a bit of pressure there, as he gives it back to Caoimhan Ferris. Lukic driving forward here. Sasa Lukic lays it down the line to Sessegnon. Tried to cross, blocked by Coyote. Those two wrestling for the ball as Coyote tries to clear his lines, and in the end Brentford work it off a Fulham player and win the goal kick. Kelleher, long thumping ball up the field. Fulham make the first contact, but the ball drops to Jensen in the middle. Coyote finding Dango with Tara. Yarmoliuk, Jensen, Damsgaard down the line, and Sessegnon again trying his defendant against Michael Coyote. He wins the throw-in, and something tells me Michael Coyote might go long. With this one, he's got one of the most dangerous long throws in the Premier League. It's well documented, Michael Coyote's threat from these sorts of situations. He's got arms like a ball launcher, Michael Coyote. Let's see if he can launch this one into the right area for Brentford. Coyote absolutely rockets that one across the area. It's cleared away by Fulham. They actually do really well under the circumstances. And it's fed all the way back to Kelleher. Going long over the top, but a bit loose there. Look at the skill there from Collins under pressure. Yarmoliuk battling too. Wanted a foul again there, Fulham. Muniz was brought down, but no foul. And now Brentford are away here. Lovely through ball to Igor Thiago. Cuts back on himself. And the shot blocked by a Fulham defender. And Igor Thiago, the movement. I mean, it's not something you'd expect of such a big physical presence that Igor Thiago has. And it's the cuteness, the quickness with his feet. Just to manoeuvre into such tight spaces. Something uncharacteristic for these proportions, you gotta say. Obi, poor ball there. Cheaply given away, and Brentford want to move again. Here's Ouattara. Lays it lovely to Igor Thiago. It's only those two up there. Fulham with a lot of numbers, and Igor Thiago recycles it well to Lewis Potter. Again, Lewis Potter drifting down the left himself here. He's got a way through. Is just in the end outnumbered. But again, Fulham on the back foot and giving it away cheaply again. Chip ball into the area. Too heavy, too high for Michael Coyote. Again, Brentford are looking a threat, but Fulham have got a little bit nervous. Certainly a lot of their clearances have been very... fair play to Caoimhan, and he put his body on the line there with that block. Well, here's the former Brentford boss, Thomas Frank. He's built the foundations here, of which Keith Andrews is building upon this season. Bassey under a lot of pressure. Brentford win it back high up the field. Nicely done. Here is Damsgaard. To Jensen. Yarmoliuk to Coyote. He almost got caught there, Michael Coyote, by Alex Iwobi, but again is led out of the position. A little bit of frustration from Fulham in the early moments. Brentford are just keeping them at bay. By that Harry Wilson chance that was blocked by his own man. Barely got up the field, Fulham, in the first 15 minutes. Keen Lewis Potter trying the right-footed cross. It deflected it fortuitously, and now Kearney looks to unleash Wilson. Breaking down the right-hand side. He's got options in the middle if he wants to find someone. Harry Wilson beats up the challenger Lewis Potter. Whips the ball in. Collins with a header. And Dango Ouattara able to break apart any sort of Fulham threat, but I have to say it's great recovery from Brentford in a really tough position. Harry Wilson left Keen Lewis Potter for dead and looked like he was in a glorious position. In the end, they recovered really well, Brentford, and stopped any further threat. As Kevin Shada swiped at there by Calvin Bassey. It is a foul. little bit of a loose touch there, and it's actually worked out here for Brentford. Dango Ouattara central. Closed out by Joachim Andersen for the moment. Works back into a bit of space. And got the shot off there, Dango Ouattara. Right down the throat of Bernd Leno. And he did really well. It's similar to the Edward Thiago chance where he takes the defender one way and then just clips back on him. Cuts back onto his opposite foot. And finds that little half yard of space to get the shot off. Really good footwork from the Brentford players so far. Fulham just looking a little bit off the boil at the minute. Switch ball there. Looking for the run of Sessegnon, but too far ahead of the Fulham fullback. And that's going to be a Brentford throw. You see this moment again. It's actually really fabulous play. I thought it was a miscue by Damsgaard, but it's actually really fabulous link-up play. Really good movement from Brentford. And as he lays it off to Ouattara, he drifts from the right back across to the left side and then cuts back onto his right foot, sending the defender in the opposite direction. Did really well to get the shot off from that difficult position. Brentford made a little bit of a mess of that bit of possession. I think the first goal will be a huge decider in the which way this game goes. At the moment it looks like Brentford are the more likely to get the first goal in this one. They got the first goal the last time the two sides met back at Craven Cottage earlier in the season. Mikkel Damsgaard, before it was 3 unanswered goals from Fulham that turned the game on its head. Alex Iwobi, Harry Wilson and an Ethan Pinnock own goal secured a 3-1 victory for Fulham in the second half. Actually, the away side has scored in each of the last 2 games between the two sides. Fulham scored the first goal here in the fixture, this exact fixture last season. Raul Jimenez scored early doors. And then it was a 2-1 Brentford lead at half-time before Fulham came back in the second half and won it from 2-1 down to win 3-2. Of course, the 2 Brentford scorers in this exact fixture last season are no longer Brentford players. Brian Mbeumo and Yohan Wissa. Get their respective moves further north. Brian Mbeumo currently at Man United and Yohan Wissa of Newcastle. Fulham throw here, and Sessegnon to take. Launches it across the field. It's a dangerous play, but it's dangerous because it's been given away. Fulham get caught out there. Shada actually runs into trouble. That's nice backtracking there. And all the way back to Bernd Leno for Fulham. I have to say, these two sides are 2 good teams to watch. They're not afraid to go at the opposite. And their opposition is, the referee is going to give a free kick here. And he's actually played advantage for the moment. Coyote swung in with a deep cross over the head of Leno. Punched away. Again, Brentford come once more. Collins fires one out to the left channel. Ball played towards Damsgaard. It got there ahead of Andersen, but Mikkel Damsgaard had the final touch. Mikkel Damsgaard, of course, and Joachim Andersen, both compatriots, both Danish players. So very well acquainted with each other there. And then you have to say, Brentford have got some tough games between now and the end of the season, especially away from home. Their next 3 away, their final 3 away games, Brentford, are Man United, Man City and Liverpool. Not typically easy fixtures to win in previous years. And they've got London derbies against West Ham and Crystal Palace to come in their final 2 home games. Of course, they go to Anfield on the final day of the season. Fulham, their final game of the season is at home to Newcastle. They've got a London derby away at Arsenal in their next away game, Fulham. How pivotal could that be when it comes to the title race come that time around? They also play the current league leaders and then the current league's bottom side in their final 2 away games of the season. Fulham, 3 of their last 5 home games of the season are at home. Aston Villa, Bournemouth and Newcastle, all sides who might be pushing for Europe come the end of the season. Maybe Newcastle just out of that conversation, but Villa and Bournemouth certainly in that mix. A lot higher. Lukic finds Sessegnon, who drifted in centrally and couldn't find the ball to Harry Wilson. Just lacking that link up further forward at the minute, Fulham. Can't really combine midfield and attack at this minute in time. It's getting lost in that real congested area in the middle. Brentford at the minute coming out the better in the central areas. And 23 minutes gone, Brentford have had more shots. 3 to Fulham's 1. They've had the only shot on target of the game, Brentford. That was that Dango Ouattara chance that was saved by Bern Leno. They've edged possession slightly, the home side, 54 to 46% possession. And in terms of XG, 0.29 to 0.05 in Brentford's favour. So the home side have had slightly the better of it, but they've not had clear-cut chances at the top end of the field either to this point. There actually was a 0-0 draw between these two sides in the last 5. It was here at the Gtech in May of 2024. 0-0 draw between the two sides. Actually, Fulham had more than double the shots Brentford had that day, but they both had only 3 shots on target, and neither side could find the net in that game that concluded the season. And that was the 3rd to final game of the season. And in that season, Fulham finished 8 points above Brentford in the table. Brentford, of course, finished 16th, and Fulham finished 13th in the table. Of the 3 previous meetings between the two sides in the Premier League here, Brentford have won only one of them, and it was their first of 3 such meetings between the sides. It was in March 2023 they won 3-2 against Fulham here. And goal scorers that day, Ethan Pinnock, Ivan Toney and Matthijs Jensen were the 3 scorers. Manor Solomon and Carlos Vinicius scored the 2 Fulham goals. The home record prior to the Premier League was pretty good against Fulham. In the 5 championship meetings between the sides between 2014 and 2019 at Griffin Park, Brentford won 4 of the 5 against Fulham. Only lost that one, 2-0 in 2016. And of course they have playoff history as well. Met in the playoff final back in 2020 and Fulham won 2-1. All 3 goals actually coming in extra time. Of course Joe Bryan, the 2 scored both Fulham goals in that game, and Henrik Dalsgaard scored the only goal for Brentford. Well, corner here to Fulham. Harry Wilson will take, right hand side. 26 minutes gone, still 0-0. Now for the delivery. Cleared away from the near post. It was Iwobi that was trying to cause the threat, and Brentford did well to defend. Damsgaard, furthest man forward, but he was muscled off the ball. Well there by Jan Sessegnon. Bassey. Tom Kearney. Lukic. Iwobi switched out to this right hand side for the moment. Castagna back to Anderson. Rods it through, finds Harry Wilson on the half turn, who ultimately challenged well by Damsgaard. Back to his goalkeeper. Yeah, they just look a little bit devoid at the minute. Fulham of much attack and threat. Brentford quite the contrary. Here comes Michael Coyote, who wants to go all on his own there. And Caoimhan Ferris closed it down, but good idea for Michael Coyote, and by that challenge from Caoimhan Ferris, he would have been through. Here's Iwobi back on the left-hand side now. No way through as he plays it back to Sessegnon. Lukic, Kearney taking a higher position. Smith Rowe. Wide to Castagna. Emil Smith Rowe links it back inside to Kearney, who swings one out to the left. That's nice play. Finds Iwobi in the area. On the left, closed down by two. Cuts it back to Sessegnon, who whips it deep. And Keller had to flap at that one to make sure no one else got any contact to it. And goes behind for a Fulham corner. That's better from Fulham though, and it all came through Emil Smith Rowe, just linking it back up with Kearney. Finding Iwobi in a good space down the left, and Sessegnon's deep delivery caused a little bit of concern to Caoimhan Kelleher. And that will get Fulham another corner. Two over it this time. Lukic and Harry Wilson both over this, as it will be Wilson to take. Left-footed. Swung to the back post. Headed across by Smith Rowe and headed away by Sepp van den Berg. Smith Rowe feeds it in behind, finds Iwobi, cuts it back across, and Joachim Andersen was in there getting a shot off. Ultimately blocked, and Brentford can scramble it clear, but better from Fulham in the last few minutes. A couple of those set piece phases. After the set piece, they keep it alive well and work Iwobi in a good position as he cuts it back for Joachim Andersen. Just kind of swiping at it, the centre back. And ultimately, well closed down. Andersen does well to work it into Smith Rowe's path. Laid out wide to Wilson. Switches across. Nicely done. Finds Alex Iwobi. Takes one or two little touches to settle the ball. Iwobi. Pass to Wilson. Now back to Sessegnon. Good movement from Fulham as Sessegnon clogged up as he got into the area. There's all the pressure here on Mikkel Damsgaard, two pressing him. Ultimately, it's going to be a Brentford throw. I say the last touch was off a Fulham player. And as we hit the half-hour mark at the Gtech Community Stadium, it remains goalless. Marco Silva a bit bemused as to how that's a Brentford throw. See it again. Yeah, it's definitely a Fulham throw. Yeah, it's definitely a Fulham throw, no doubt about it. Coyote, long down the line. They wanted a push there, and they are going to get the foul. Fulham. Brentford wanted the foul initially, but ultimately it's Fulham that get the free kick. And there's a real debate going on down there. Well, I mean, there's no question. Caoimhan Ferris, I mean, he's got full grip of Igor Thiago there. Both hands around his waist, pulling him back. It should be definitely a foul, and then Igor Thiago, I mean, does go over the top of Joachim Andersen, but foul should have been given before that, you think? And that's what the whole debate was down there. Here's Joachim Andersen. Fulham have had the better spell in the last couple of minutes. They've looked the stronger. Here's Alex Iwobi off the left. Lays it back inside. Kearney links it through in the shot. Over the crossbar by Ryan Sessegnon. Really good play again from Fulham. Wolby angling it wide. Works it back into the middle with their space emergent. Really good play. Through ball to Sessegnon. He gets his shot off, just flashes at it. And just loses his concentration at the last second, and frustration for Marco Silva. Really strong position there for Fulham. He just couldn't find the finish, Ryan Sessegnon. Keep the shot down. It has been Fulham who've been pressing a little bit more, pushing in the last 5 minutes, but Brentford always have that threat, and especially when you think you've got them, that's when they become dangerous. They are a really good counter-attacking team, Brentford. At times they haven't had the chances to really break on Fulham. That's a long ball attempted out to the left, but far too much on that one for Keane Lewis-Potter to get anywhere near. From Sepp van den Berg, and I think at the minute they are just kind of struggling with that, Brentford. They're trying to go longer, but not quite getting it right. And when they do get it right, Fulham have done well defensively to make sure there's no real shooting opportunities emergent for Brentford. Long throw by Castagna. Stolen away initially, but retrieved by Sessegnon, who's helped out by his captain. Now Wolby. Back to Caoimhan Ferris. Now he squared across to Joachim Andersens. They worked themselves out of a bit of pressure well there, Fulham. Lukic. Wide to Smith Rowe. Back to Castagna. And now Anderson. Bassey. A bit of room to manoeuvre here up the field. Lays it out wide to Alex Iwobi. Bassey continued his move. Iwobi is going to angle it back to Sessegnon. Now Iwobi, he will strike. Blocked by a man a few yards ahead of him. And cycled well by Fulham. Grown in control of this game. Anderson with a switch ball. Taken in by Smith Rowe. On the right channel. Finding Kearney between the lines. Now Wilson. Back to Tom Kearney. Wide to Castagna. Works it inside, and again Sessegnon just a little bit out-muscled on the edge of the box, as that's nicely done by Smith Rowe. And again Brentford just about get it clear of danger, but Fulham are looking much more of a threat. Brentford need to watch themselves. That was nicely done though by Dango Ouattara, and Coyote back to Ouattara wide. Bit of an option here. Brentford is Ouattara trying to work in behind Caoimhan Ferris, but again the defender comes out on top and smothers any sort of room that was being created there by Dango Ouattara. Now come Fulham. Getting a little bit more open now this game. I'd like to see a goal soon. Sasa Lukic finds Harry Wilson. Trying to work it towards Rodrigo Muniz, but again closed out by Nathan Collins. Yeah, they're getting up to the final third, both teams, but it's when they enter the opposition boxes where they're having troubles. Fulham making a lot more entries into that final third than their opponents at the moment. That's a nice switch ball. Iwobi hugging the touchline. Drifts in field. Finds trying to find a way past Coyote. Iwobi runs into Michael Coyote and then hands the ball back to Brentford. And as Lukic tries to win it back, he gives away a foul. Kevin Shada, the one fouled. Yeah, it just feels like when something bright's emerging, something good's emerging in this game, the defence of the other team just comes out on top and just restores a bit of control, a bit of calmness. And Fulham have had the most recent threat. They've had each of the last 3 shots in the game, albeit none of them on target as of yet from their 4 shots they've had. So at the moment it still remains that there's very little goal threat between these two teams at the moment. And let's hope it emerges soon. We've had a mixed bag in the last 2 games here at the Gtech between the sides. A 5-goal thriller last season and a 0-0 draw the season before. We've had both ends of the scale. Something in the middle wouldn't be too bad. Sepp van den Berg looping it over the back of the defence again, but too far ahead of Shada and Igor Thiago, who are making the runs. As at the minute they're struggling to find those attacking players in those dangerous positions, Brentford. And you think, maybe is that Jordan Henderson injury a much bigger one for Brentford than really you would expect it to be? It's his play from the midfield that has been so threatening for Brentford this season. Albeit they did it without him last week in the game against Everton. Jordan Henderson has been a real key figure in this Brentford team in the middle this season. His experience just to dictate play has been so strong. Free kick here for Brentford. Jensen towards the box, header back across and took a deflection on the way through. Will be a corner. Nathan Collins with a header, deflected by Sasalukic, I think. Or is it Timothy Castagna? Oh, Castagna got absolutely whacked by Rodrigo Muniz, who actually deflected it. Muniz didn't see his man coming and whacked him in the face. His own teammate. Inadvertent and accidental, obviously. It will be a Brentford corner. Matthias Jensen to take. 6 minutes to go of the first half. Remains goalless. What can Matthias Jensen do from this set piece? Right footed delivery, flicked on at the near post, a bit of a scrabble. And they clear it away there for him just as I was sneezing. And ultimately seen out for a throw. Again, great delivery by Matthias Jensen. Good flick on at the front post, but just a crowd of bodies in there that just kind of took the sting off the threat of the header. Yeah, it was Kevin Shada's header at the front post. Just flicked it on to a dangerous area. And it's stopped by Rodrigo Muniz, who it did come off his arm, but his arm was down by his side. Quick look there from VAR. And quickly checked and cleared by VAR, as you would expect. VAR, by the way, this afternoon, Craig Pawson, assisted by Adrian Holmes. Pawson did have a quick look at it, but said no further action. Quick update from the Championship after last night's developments of Coventry getting promoted to the Premier League, and we will welcome them back in August when we start the new Premier League season in late August. But Derby are leading Oxford by a goal to nil in these lunchtime kickoffs. Millwall 2 up against QPR in that London derby, and Portsmouth 0, Leicester 0 as a battle at the bottom continues this lunchtime. As it stands, Millwall winning this afternoon would put them above Ipswich in the table, ahead of Ipswich's game with Middlesbrough tomorrow. Derby would close in on the top 6, as well as Portsmouth and Leicester. Portsmouth would stay out of the bottom 3, and Leicester would stay quite comfortably in the bottom 3 with a 0-0 draw. Oxford as well in that relegation battle too. A defeat, of course, wouldn't do much good for them. A win today, though, for Oxford would put them above West Brom in the table and out of the bottom 3. Now, there's an issue here for Alex Iwobi. He's gone down. And I think it might be a hamstring issue. And you see this moment here. Yeah, and Alex Iwobi, as the ball was played out wide, deflected out wide, he just kind of pulled up as he was running to the ball. And you know right away with those types of moments, your game is done, your day is done. And maybe the next few weeks too. Remember, we only do have a few weeks of the season left. '24th of May. The final day of the Premier League. I think that's 5 weeks tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. As Alex Iwobi's going to be replaced by Samuel Chukwueze, I believe, here. Yeah, 5 weeks tomorrow. 36 days until the final day of the season. And the run-in starts this weekend. Of course, you've seen all the branding around LFS this weekend of the run-in. How important could this and how devastating could it be possibly for Fulham to lose Alex Iwobi and Samuel Chukwueze? Next man step up, and Alex Iwobi. Sessegnon to take this through, and then for Fulham, high up on the left side. 2 minutes or so of the first half to go. Remains goalless here at the Gtech. Sessegnon's deep delivery. Flicked on and into a bit of a danger zone there. They can't get it away, Brentford. As it is now finally cleared by Nathan Collins. And an awkward landing there for Kevin Shadow under the pressure of Emile Smith-Rowe. That's going to get Brentford a free kick. Andy says, as a Villa fan, glad Coventry did it. It brings so much prosperity to the Midlands, but offset with Wolves going down maybe. Well, yeah, it's great to see Coventry back 25 years out of the top flight. And as I said last night, they travelled all the way up and down the EFL leagues, League 1, League 2 and the Championship over the last 25 years. So it's good to have them back, and they'll be joining the Premier League cohort next season. And who will join them is another question, and who will be departing us? You'd expect Wolves and Burnley will be going down very soon, and that could possibly happen as quickly as this weekend, technically, because if West Ham win on Monday night, so say for example, if West Ham lose a win on Monday night, and Forest at least get something out of their game, even if Forest lose, there will be a 16-point gap between them and Wolves. Wolves, of course, will have to lose the Leeds for that to be the case. And West Ham win would mean there will be a 16-point gap between them and the bottom three, which would relegate Wolves this weekend. That is only if West Ham win at Crystal Palace and Wolves lose to Leeds. That will be the case. Burnley might not be too far away either. We said actually it could be Wednesday night when they play Man City. They could be relegated if things don't go in their favour across this weekend and midweek as well. Kearney, Chukwueze swings it across there for Fulham, cleared away. And he says Fulham are a mid-table, can't give Brentford problems, but Brentford should win. Well, the thing is, Fulham win today, they go level on points with Brentford, so they're not quite separated. They're separated by quite a few places, but not by many points, as 2 added minutes at the end of this first half will come. And that's how the mid-table looks this season. I mean, 6th to 14th, as I told you at the start of the game, 6th to 14th, that's quite a lot of places in the table. It's 9 places, all separated by just 6 points, so it is as close as it can be, really, when it comes to the mid-table teams fighting for European football. Minute and a half to go of the first half then. Brentford with this corner. Dango Ouattara taking it again. Left-footed. Swung across, and Anderson got his head to that one. Still not away. A little bit of a drag back in the shot over the crossbar by Keane Lewis-Potter. Huge chance there. I mean, you would have bet your house on him to score from that sort of position. Bet anybody to score from that sort of range, and he just kind of scooped it, Lewis-Potter. See it here. Rolled it back, and then as it rolled back, he just kind of got underneath the ball and scooped it over the crossbar. What a huge chance. I have to say, they've had 2 big chances, Brentford, in this first half. Igor Thiago's header that was directed wide, and then that chance for Keane Lewis-Potter that was scooped over the crossbar. Long throw down the line here for Brentford. Shada battling against Castagna. Shada keeping it in play, but not keeping the possession for his team, as Fulham can clear their lines. Played up to Rodrigo Muniz, who tried to find Chukwueze, but well intercepted by Coyote. And as the 2 minutes are up, the first half concludes. And a goalless first half it is at the Gtech Community Stadium, but not without one or two chances for both teams. They've both looked a little off it in the top end of the pitch. But that's what the second half can try and eke out of these two teams. Both have missed big chances, but who will have the breakthrough in the bragging rights of this West London derby? Half time, it's Brentford 0, Fulham 0. Your one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this, and Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions, and there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable! Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in, the header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible!
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
Welcome back to Premier League Live, half-time at the Gtech Community Stadium. It is Brentford 0, Fulham 0 at the break in this West London derby. A huge game for these two in their push for possible European football. And certainly Brentford start the day in 7th and would go above Chelsea if they win this afternoon. Remember, Chelsea play Man United a little later this evening, as you can see on the fixture list. There are a huge game to come tomorrow. Sees Manchester City take on Arsenal, a battle for the title maybe at the Etihad. That's tomorrow at 4:30. That's our game of the week. A huge game where Arsenal sit at the start of the weekend 6 points clear of City, but if City win tomorrow, they would go to 3 points between the two, and City would have a game in hand. So it's all to play for at the top of the table. That's to come tomorrow. But the run-in is only getting started, and here is what's to come.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
Very good afternoon. Welcome back to LFS for Premier League Live this Saturday lunchtime. It's great to start our weekend with you this lunchtime. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, it is still goalless here at the break between Brentford and Fulham. A big second half to come between these two sides. And don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you all for joining us at this lunchtime. And hopefully this game gives us some goals in the second half. It's been an intriguing battle between the two so far. More of a tactical test between the two teams rather than anything else at the moment. Both lacking that cutting edge in the final third. But can they refocus and find it for this second half in a game that is huge, not only for points, but as we already told you, a West London derby is always a big day in the calendar for these clubs. And they have a big next 45 minutes to decide where possibly their seasons could end up. For Brentford, it could be keep dreaming, as they could go as high as possible when it comes to the table. And they could put pressure on the top 5 if they win this afternoon, Brentford, which would be an incredible feat, an incredible position to put themselves in. And a bit of pressure on Chelsea to go and beat Man United a little later, which, I mean, based on how those two teams have been playing and the situation they find themselves in, who knows if that's going to happen. We'll see what comes of that one a little later, but certainly an exciting way to start the day. A trip to West London, an exciting matchup. So far, as I said, it's been more of a tactical battle between the two teams than anything else. Let's hope that flips on its head in the second half and we get goals galore. Caoimhan Kelleher to Nathan Collins. Yarmoliuk there, just dropping a little deeper alongside the two centre-backs. Here's Coyote, back to Sepp van den Berg. He will give it back to his goalkeepers. Fulham press high. Kelleher goes long, looking for the target of Igor Thiago, but again, no way through, and Fulham send it clear. Well, as it stands, Brentford would go level on points with Chelsea with a draw, albeit they would be behind the Blues on goal difference. Oh, Kelleher, he's trying to work himself out of trouble there, and he almost got caught on the ball. Caoimhan Kelleher takes such huge risks now. Goalkeepers playing out from the back, and Kelleher almost got himself into a lot of trouble there under a bit of pressure from Rodrigo Muniz. And ultimately Brentford get a throw in out of that situation a little later, but we see it again. The ball back from Collins, and Kelleher, heavy touch. And look at that, from a little turn from the Irishman. Does really well. Under such pressure. Fantastic. Fulham again get a rare bit of possession in the second half and make a mess of it. Igor Thiago, the target man, held it up well there, but again, good recovery by Ran Sessegnon. That'll be a Fulham throw. Really even first half, and that's going to be a foul here. And it's going to be a real clash here. It's Nathan Collins who's on the ground after a clash. See it here with a collision with the left arm of his centre-back partner, Sepp Vandenberg there. And with a head injury, they have to stop the game instantly just to allow him to be checked up on. Correct decision, obviously. I think the game has just lacked flow, really, in the game so far. It's just not been one of those where it's been free flow and open attacking football. It's been a little bit stodgy between the two teams, and I think, as I said, I think a goal would change that massively. And a goal either way would massively change that. As Nathan Collins just being checked up on for any facial issues. He's been checked and cleared, and he's back to his feet and should be okay to continue, the Brentford captain. Stretching his jaw out there, just making sure that there isn't a long-standing problem. Switch ball here, played by Fulham. Right from the drop ball as Harry Wilson takes it under control. Lukic to Emil Smith-Rowe. Back to Harry Wilson. And across now to Tom Kearney. Lays it out to the left-hand side. Chukwueze finding Sessegnon, who just overstepped it, and then Lukic from the cutback. So it's scooped well clear of the goal. Poor finish. Again, good build-up play. Good play here from Chukwueze. Directing it into the path of Ran Sessegnon, who took a heavy touch and then laid it back to Lukic on the edge of the area. He made a meal of that challenge there. Or that shot, shall I say. As that's going to be a clash. And Coyote is going to win the throw-in out of it. They wanted a foul there, Fulham. A foul on Calvin Bassey, but the referee was okay with it. See it here. I don't think there's much between the two teams there, or the two players. Nothing in that. Throw in there for Brentford. Just about a skip from danger there, Damsgaard, and helped out by Keane Lewis-Potter. Collins under pressure. Plays it to Vandenberg, who will hook it long. Finding the head of Sessegnon, but yeah, it's been a good battle in midfield from both teams, but again, as I said, this game just needs a goal. Change it around. Give it that little bit of life that it needs in an attacking sense. It's been a little bit stale in those areas. Well, Brentford, of course, lost this exact fixture 3-2 last season. They haven't lost consecutive home league games against Fulham since April 1998. Fulham were to win today, that would be the case. First time in 28 years. Well, Fulham have won each of the last 3 league games against Brentford, more than they had in their first 14 21st century meetings with the Bees. They won only 2 of those 14 meetings. Lost 8 of them. Here's Keane Lewis-Potter. Looking for the switch over the top. Too far for Damsgaard to get anywhere near. There's real lack of quality. As there's Jordan Henderson, who would have been a real welcomed involvement in today's game. Certainly, I think that's the type of player that is missing from the game. That a good hard defender, that, or a real good hard midfielder that can play that creative force. Link things up well. String it all together, really. That's nicely done there by Ouattara. Damsgaard now. Run here for Nathan Collins, taking on Harry Wilson. And eased out of play there, Collins. Throw in it will be to Fulham. Well, Brentford have drawn 8 of their last 4 Premier League matches. They've only drawn 4 of their first 28 games in the 25-26 season. The Bees have only drawn 5 league games in a row once before, doing so in and April of 1957. Wazy, lovely ball in behind. Sessegnon made the undercutting run. And that's cleared behind by Sepp Vandenberg for a corner. Nicely done again. They're finding that link up now, Chukwueze and Sessegnon. Chukwueze staying wide. And Sessegnon just making that underlapping run on the inside. More of an inverted winger rather than a fullback. And he did really well there. And wins the corner out of the situation. Gets the centre-backs up the pitch. And the corner be taken at the end of which the Fulham fans reside in this far end of the Gtech. Wilson and Lukic over it. It's Lukic who will take right-footed delivery, and that one's overhit, and will drop out for a goal kick in the far end. Again, it's just been a lack of quality. It's let this game down at the minute. Just one shot on target between the two teams so far. That hasn't changed since early in the first half. Since the 18th minute was the one and only shot on target of the match from Tango Ouattara. Now, Brentford have loved the draw as of recently. As I said, they've drawn the last 4 league games and drew that game with West Ham 2-2, albeit lost on penalties. But the last win was a 4-3 victory away at Burnley back in February for Brentford. Chukwueze with the cross here for Fulham. Cleared to the edge of the area. Damsgaard trying to further clear it, but again kept alive by Fulham and then miscued by Anderson. Lewis Potter. Drag on Jensen by Smith Rowe. That's going to be a free kick. That's a lovely switch ball right from the free kick here. Tango Ouattara. He's got down the right. Tries the cross that was blocked by Sessegnon. That'll be a corner. It's a beautiful switch ball. From that position, how Tango Ouattara doesn't make more of this is just good defended by Sessegnon, but again, lack of attacking quality. Corner. There for the delivery, poor delivery as Wilson heads away at the front post. Damsgaard. Down the line to Lewis Potter. Swung in deep, that's a lovely ball. Chested down by Ouattara. Cuts onto his left, Ouattara! Good shot, good strike. Decent catch by Bern Leno. That's the best bit of quality we've seen in a long time in this game. Beautiful cross by Keane Lewis Potter, chested down by Ouattara, and as he cuts onto his left foot, finds that little gap of space to have the shot and a clean, straight strike. Well caught by Bern Leno, but the best bit of attacking quality we've seen in a while. telling you, this game needs something. Brentford have drawn 2 of the last 4 games 0-0, albeit both of them came away from home. Their 2 home draws in the last 4 have come by a 2-2 scoreline with Wolves and Everton. Treated the goals here, certainly. The last 0-0 draw at home was in January on New Year's Day when they drew 0-0 with Tottenham on New Year's Day. Brentford. Here's Shada. Back to Jensen. Shada. Cross was deflected. Taken down again by Fulham. And now they want to break away with Chukwueze. Into Kearney. He's got Muniz ahead of him. Kearney lays it back out wide to Chukwueze. Trying to dribble into the area. Cuts it back to Kearney. More bodies in there now. Smith Rowe. Wide it goes to Sessegnon, who whips the ball deep towards Muniz, but too close to Caoimhan Kelleher. Now Fulham actually drew 0-0 against Forest just a few games ago, and haven't scored in any of the last 2 away games. Fulham against Forest, and then that 2-0 defeat to Liverpool last week. They have an in-and-out record away from home, certainly. Fulham actually won just 1 of their last 7 away from home in the league. 2 draws and 4 defeats out of those other 6 games, albeit games away at Anfield, Etihad and Old Trafford in there, and Ellen Road. Those 4 defeats, and picking up draws away at Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest, and that 3-1 win away at Sunderland, the only win in that run. Jensen back on his feet after receiving some treatment. We hit the hour mark inside the Gtech. Still goalless. Not the start to the weekend we wanted to see in the run-in. Can it have an exciting last 30 minutes to subvert the current headlines that are being written? A pretty underwhelming game so far here at the Gtech. Lewis Potter evades pressure and challenge. Breaks down the left here, key Lewis Potter. Into the area he goes, whips it across. Cleared away by Sessegnon, but only as far as Yarmolyuk. Ouattara carries it wide. Coyote now. Back to Matisse Jens, or to Yarmolyuk, sorry, as Jensen returns to the field of play. Here is Jensen. And the ball all the way back to Sepp van den Berg. And now Caoimhan Kelleher. Yarmolyuk lifting it round the corner, finding Igor Thiago, shall I say, up against Bassi, and well hounded by Calvin Bassi. Seen away from goal as Ouattara does well. Feeds it back to Jensen. Bit more energy about Brentford at the moment. Here's Dango Ouattara. Onto his left again. Comes back onto his right. But Bassi's got him all under control. And Ouattara's going to be penalised here for a push on Calvin Bassi. That's going to be a Fulham free kick. Keith Andrews making a point to the 4th official about that situation, and he wasn't too happy with the foul being given against his team. John Brooks, of course, the 4th official. Bassey taking his time. He is on his feet. But the crowd not happy with how long Fulham are taking to restart the game here. Adam says, Premier League football, go to winger, back to fullback, back to centre-back, then back to winger, cross ball into goal, keeper's hands. Yeah. It is a bit predictable at the minute. You just need to find something different. I think it's just a lack of quality in this game. That's been the issue. We haven't seen much threat from the attackers. The defences have just come out on top at the minute. It's not they've done anything magical, it's just the opposition attackers just haven't done enough to find a way past the defenders at this minute in time. Flag up there against Harry Wilson. Wilson trying to create something for Fulham as he lays it back to Ran Sessegnon. He feeds it down the line to Kearney, who's come wide from midfield. Kearney, that's a lovely run. Sessegnon's shot. Charged down. Beautiful ball by Kearney. Great run by Sessegnon. Ultimately comes to nothing, but that was better from Fulham. Tom Kearney seems to have the ideas and the ability to unlock this Brentford defence, but Sessegnon very much involved as well in the last 10 minutes. We need a magic moment. We need something to change this game. The final 26 minutes. Looks like there might be some changes coming. Certainly in Fulham persuasion in a moment or two. Collins. Lewis Potter. To Jensen. And across to Sepp Vandenberg. We'll drive forward here from centre back. Vandenberg. Out wide it goes to Coyote. Drifting in field, gives it back to Vandenberg. Out wide to Ouattara's. Coyote actually worked himself into the box here, Coyote. Dango Ouattara beats past his fullback, crosses it in. Shada gets involved in the mix. And it actually comes back into the hands of Bernd Leno. Again, better play. Fulham almost caught out there as Bernd Leno has to scramble clear. A little bit loose defensively there from Fulham. Jensen goes with the switch. Shada lefts up with his header. Damsgaard! It's set wide. Much, much better from Brentford. Really good, working off the fly. Great cross from Jensen. And Shada just heads it back across into the central area. And the run from attacking midfield from Mikkel Damsgaard. Defenders were beaten and he just kind of loops it wide of the left post. But that's better play from Brentford. Much better movement. And we're going to see some Fulham changes afoot. Josh King and Raul Jimenez replacing Rodrigo Muniz and Emil Smith-Rowe. So a double Fulham change. Some attacking changes to try and switch this game up. Josh King will of course take the place of Emil Smith-Rowe as a straight swap in the 10. And of course Raul Jimenez will take the straight role of centre forward in place of Rodrigo Muniz. Really struggled up the top this afternoon, Muniz. Shada wrestling and battling with Castagna, and he wins the throw in there, does the Brentford winger. Damsgaard battling well, and Lewis Potter won the ball, but hacked down by Harry Wilson. That's going to be a free kick. He did well there, Keane Lewis Potter. Just got the ball away before Harry Wilson could make the challenge, and a little bit late from the Fulham player. Not looked his usual threat today, Harry Wilson. Jensen and Damsgaard are the two that are lurking around the ball here for Brentford. Opportunity from another set piece. Try and take advantage. Quarter of this game to go. Still it remains 0-0. Is there a change in fortune coming? Damsgaard leaves it. Jensen will take. Swung to the back post and over the head of Collins, who was the main threat in there. Just over the head of Collins, shall I say. And it goes behind for a goal kick. Yeah, good delivery by Jensen. Just a little high for Nathan Collins. Just a little bit. If it was a little bit lower, Collins certainly would have got his head to that one ahead of his man. And ultimately, straight out for a goal kick. A little bit more intent, certainly from Brentford in the last 5-10 minutes. You kind of feel that there's a little bit more energy for them, but just need to harvest that. As Anderson and Bassey trying to clear that one away. Lewis Potter guides his header down to Jensen. He returns the favour back to Keane Lewis Potter. Wide on the left here. He's got Wilson for company. Lewis Potter chops inside, comes back outside. Lewis Potter's delivery. Everybody queuing up at the back post. Dango with Tara and Igor Thiago and Coyote all in the mix. As Coyote brings it down here on the right. Swung in by Yarmoliuk and too close to Bernd Leno on that occasion. But again, there are threats from wide crosses from Brentford. Keane Lewis Potter looks the more threatening crosser of the ball at the minute, though. A couple of his second half crosses have looked dangerous and created some decent opportunities for Brentford. Lukic. Jimenez pounced upon as he tried to hold it up and stolen away from him by Collins. Will be out for a Fulham throw. Twenty minutes to go. Ultimately, Fulham make a mess of that bit of possession. They've been a little bit sloppy in possession, certainly Fulham in the second half. Just been a little bit lacking. Probably all afternoon, really, Fulham in possession. Just haven't seen enough quality from them. And again, that's another mistake. Raul Jimenez again, just prodding one right out of play, trying to find Harry Wilson. Someone needs to book these players a bit of a Specsavers appointment soon. A couple of their passes this afternoon for Fulham gone very wayward. Another Brentford throw in coming here. It looks like maybe Coyote might angle one here from range. Coyote in a unique set piece position. Long throw into the area. Headed down by Fulham. And there's actually going to be a foul here. There's a free kick for Josh King being fouled in his own box. That's going to be a Brentford, Fulham free kick. Well, Fulham have lost 10 of the last 15 Premier League games against teams starting the day in the top half of the table, including each of the last 4 in a row since a 2-1 win over Chelsea back in January. So they don't usually fare well against top half opposition, Fulham. And they themselves could be in the top half if they win this, which is still not out of the realms of possibility. Thiago, nice chested. Looking for Damsgaard, who did take it down, but closed away from him eventually. Well, one back again, though, by Brentford. Jensen looking to lift one into the area, but far too much on it that time. Leno on the end of it. Lukic between the lines, linking it up well, finds Sessegnon. Wide to Chukwueze, but again Fulham have to come backwards. So Lukic though has found it. Get a little bit of space here to drive into an area. And just played the ball again, a little ahead of Jimenez. That could be cleared by Nathan Collins. Just needs one moment. One moment. One moment of quality. If you're ever thinking that I've never been more desperate for one team to score a goal in a game. Not because I care about either team in terms of I support either team. I'm completely neutral, but as a neutral, you want to see goals. You don't want to see this. 73 minutes of probably the most devoid of quality football in attacking areas that I've seen all season. And in a game where both sides really need, and would love, 3 points. Certainly do wonders for their late season ambitions. Some Fulham players warming up there on the sidelines. Brentford clear long up the field, and that is going to be a free kick as Joachim Andersen got too physical with his man, and Igor Thiago. He's been quiet today as well, Igor Thiago. A man who's never usually quiet for Brentford. 21 league goals this season. Only Erling Haaland has more league goals than Igor Thiago this campaign with 22. Here's Keane Lewis-Potter. Drifting into a space and does really well to win a corner out of that. Fantastic from Keane Lewis-Potter. He looks the main threat for Brentford in this late stage of the game. One that's really going for it. As I was saying about Igor Thiago, scored in each of his last 2 games here for Brentford at home. 2 against Everton last week, and scored in the 2-2 draw with Wolves here in mid-March. So 3 goals in his last 2 home games. You would have put him down as one of the favourites today to get the ball into the back of the net, if anybody can. 15 to go. Jensen to take this corner. Right-footed delivery. Flicked on, and then round the back. No one got any contact. Nathan Collins with a flick-on header. And there was 2 at the back post. And the ball just strolled through the 2 of them. It was Igor Thiago and Michael Dango Ouattara actually at the back post. 2 good chances. Good flick on by Collins. And just over the head of Igor Thiago. And just ahead of Dango Ouattara. Leno clears long. Flick on by Jimenez. And Sepp Vandenberg easily guides it back to his goalkeeper, Caoimhan Ferris. Look at that. Goals into the final 15 minutes of games this season. Brentford have scored the second most, plus 76 minutes this season. Only Liverpool have scored more in those latter stages. 16 goals they've scored in the final 15 minutes of games, Brentford, so they leave it late a lot. That's lovely from Damsgaard. Here's Igor Thiago. A little bit of space under the man right in front of him. Thiago lays it back to Collins. It comes to now. Excuse me. Finds Damsgaard. Lewis-Potter back wide to Damsgaard. Evades the challenge and hacked down there. Referee says no foul. That should have been a free kick in my opinion. Nonetheless, Fulham have the ball away here with Wilson still in his own half. And we play on. Lukic, down the line it goes. Sessegnon, back to Kearney. Now Lukic, flicks it round the back. Wilson gone unnoticed. And he either miscued the shot or tried the cross and no one was in there for him. Either way, didn't have the desired finish that it would have wanted to have. Harry Wilson was perfectly onside. Yeah, it's definitely looked like a cross to me. I mean, that's a foul. We see it here, Harry Wilson way at the start of the move. Challenge on Damsgaard. I mean, it's definitely a foul. Should be a yellow card as well, in my opinion. It's a crunch and scissor challenge right on the sidelines. And he was away if that contact wasn't made. So I think that's not only a foul, but a yellow card too. But the referee didn't give either. Pull back here on a Brentford player again. Goes unchallenged and unpunished. The referee had a very good view of that one as well. Interesting. From Paul Tierney. Kearney. Right there is Chukwueze was dispossessed and Igor Thiago wrestling his man. Referee was going to give the free kick but decides to play advantage here for Brentford. Dango Ouattara. Ouattara trying to swing one across and Bernd Leno swung a right hand at it to put it behind for a corner. A bit of danger there on that cross. And the Fulham goalkeeper wanted to make sure it was going wide. Corner it will be. And Keith Andrews may be asking why that foul on Igor Thiago, where the referee played advantage, wasn't a yellow card. A little bit of frustration from Brentford's side. A few decisions just not going in their favour in the last few minutes. The referee Paul Tierney. And one or two you could really understand where they're coming from, in my opinion. Corner it is then. Dango Ouattara will deliver once more. From the right hand side here for Brentford. Lots of height in there they want to target. Including the centre forward and the two centre backs. Swung in it comes. Punched away by Leno. Over the head of Jensen. And then Chukwueze just runs it out of play. Struggled since he come on as well, Samuel Chukwueze at times. It's not too unusual considering the way Fulham have played this afternoon. They're going to make a double substitution. Going to see the introduction of Anthony Robinson. He's going to replace Ryan Sessegnon at left back. And I believe Tom Kearney, the Fulham captain, is going to be replaced by Oscar Bob, I think. Looks like it will be Oscar Bob. It will be. So Robinson and Bob on for Sessegnon and Kearney. Fresh legs then for Fulham. This will be their 5 changes complete. Brentford still without a change in this game so far. Haven't made a substitution, which is interesting. So we enter the final 10 minutes. Can these fresh legs help Marco Silva's side in there? Chance to try and win this. It's still out there for both teams to try and win late on. 0-0. 9 minutes left on the clock. Jensen. Finds Sepp Vandenberg. Plays it back to his keeper. Maybe I'm just getting a bit impatient. Maybe I should just relax, but it is getting a bit frustrating. I mean, what's Matthias Jensen doing here? Back to Kelleher. And go long. Over the head of Shada. Well headed away there by Castagna. Bob trying to play it on, but again, no one further forward to help link it up. Again, I'm so desperate for there to be a goal. Please. Give us something. Come on. Something coming. And not with that type of ball, it's not. Overhit completely. Coyote has no chance. Goal kick. Well, a reminder for you. Let's hope that this game, our next game here at LFS, is a much better one than we've watched so far this afternoon. A huge game at the Etihad tomorrow at 4:30 as Manchester City take on Arsenal in the huge game of the weekend, really. Could decide what way the title goes. If City win, it's very much on to the end of the season between these two. But if Arsenal win, surely now the title would be wrapped up, and a draw would keep it tantalisingly close as well. That is 4:30 tomorrow on LFS. The run-in does begin this weekend. 5 games in 5 days for you across the Premier League. One every day between now and Wednesday evening. We've got you covered all the way through to next midweek. And Oscar Bob just holding back Keane Lewis Potter there. And that's going to be a free kick, no doubt. Mathias Jensen over this free kick for Brentford. Another Brentford set piece. Right-footed delivery. It's deep. Oh! Could have just dipped in there. Bernd Leno had to make the save. It's a good save. It's a really good bit of quality from Mathias Jensen. I don't know whether he was targeting trying to find the back of the net himself, but nonetheless, it just looped over everybody in there, and Bernd Leno needed to make sure that it wasn't going to drop in at his back post. Corner will be their 8th of the game for Brentford, compared to Fulham's 3. Another set-piece opportunity. Swung ball by Ouattara, and the header at the back post from Damsgaard is well off targets. Again, I'd always build. This game has been one of those games where it's teased you. It's build to something, and then right when they have the chance, they just fall away. It's really, really poor quality from both teams in the final third today. It's been really disappointing. I mean, we've had 7 shots in the whole game. 7 shots. 4 for Brentford, 3 from Fulham. In this sorry, that's in the second half, apologies. It's 9-8. But in the second half, Fulham still without a shot on target in the whole game. Brentford have had 3 shots on target. 1 in the first half, 2 in the second. And really, the chances that I'm looking at are decent opportunities, but really, at the end of the day, neither side can really complain if they don't win this one, because at the end of the day, they haven't been good enough in front of goal. But it all can change on one chance. That's a lovely ball in behind. Is Igor Thiago? He might have got himself onside, but nonetheless, Bernd Leno got there in front of him and ahead of him. Stop that at counter-attacking chance. King, right to the left, finds Chukwueze. Lifts it across. Too close again to Caoimhan Gallagher. As I slump back in my chair. 4 minutes to go of the 90 minutes. Let's hope for all our sakes there isn't too much added time. Throw-in was awkward. I think that might have been a foul throw by Keane Lewis Potter. I mean, that just goes to sum up the game. I mean, a fouled throw in a Premier League game. I mean, Jesus Christ. I apologise, but for the language, but it's getting so frustrating. Good hold up there by Damsgaard. Closed out. They will win the free kick out of it though, Damsgaard and Brentford. 3 minutes of normal time to go. Switch ball. to the left-hand side, and ultimately Brentford, I think, will get the throw into this, and it's going to go long, I would suspect, with Michael Coyote here. Look at that for a touch for Keith Andrews a little earlier. Probably the best quality we've seen all day, and it's come from the Brentford manager. Maybe that sums up the game. Michael Coyote then with this long throw attempt. I mean, it's certainly no surprise he's going to go long. It's Michael Coyote. Launches into the area. Flick on! Bit of a deflection that clears it away. Fabulous ball in. For the first time, it's really given us something to get excited about in the box. And Igor Thiago has his header blocked. Now up the other end it comes. King trying to get on the end of it, but guided well. Defended well by Coyote and caught by Kelleher. Collins. Are we going to have a late winner? Or will it just, these final minutes remain like the previous 89 we've watched? Lack of quality. Long kick with Kelleher. Coyote back to Sepp Vandenberg. Now Jensen. It's certainly Brentford is the aggressor at the minute. They're the team trying to push. That's nicely done by Raul Jimenez, playing at fullback at the minute for Fulham there. It's Bob. Closed out away from the man there now, Anderson. A bit of room here for Brentford. Keane Lewis-Potter across, and the shot, what a save! What an incredible save by Bernd Leno. Fabulous cross by Keane Lewis-Potter. And there was two queuing up. This is fabulous, this. Great cross by Lewis-Potter right across the box. And it's Dango Ouattara with the absolute wonder chance. And what a save by the Fulham goalkeeper. That is absolutely incredible. Keith Andrews can't believe it. I don't think any of us can believe it. That is incredible goalkeeping. 6 added minutes. Where was that for the last 90 minutes? That bit of quality. Corner, delivered in. Header is wide. Collins again. He's had quite a number of chances. He's just not had it today in front of goal, Nathan Collins. Probably could have had a hat-trick with the chances he's had today. The Brentford centre-back, but I have to say, this is some save. It's absolutely incredible. Dango Ouattara gets such good contact on it. But what a great save. Goodness me. And I have to say, in a game where both sides have really struggled in front of goal, a goalkeeper called into action in such a huge moment, and Bernd Leno, one of the most experienced in the league, comes up with a fabulous save to deny Brentford what would have been a winner, surely. Throw in here for Fulham coming. Going to go long, I think, Timothy Castagna here. It's not quite Michael Coyote. He's actually going to go short. Switch ball there, flicked across and flicked well behind. Bassi has to do a bit of hurdling there to avoid clashing with the advertising board. Oh my goodness, is that the moment of the game? A huge moment. And at the moment, Bernd Leno's been given player of the match, and I don't think that decision was made before that save. It was a bit peculiar, but not peculiar after that save. What an incredible stop. What was that? The big chance of the game. It would only sum this game up. when they have a one gilt-edged chance right on the spot with an opportunity to win it, and the goalkeeper comes up with a fabulous save to deny it. It's just one of those days. Seems like it might just turn out to be. Here's Oscar Bob for Fulham. And his best to jink way past Keane Lewis Potter, and as he tried to, Lewis Potter just pushed him over. That's going to be a Fulham free kick. Half of the added time up. 3 minutes remain of this match. Sasa Lukic and Harry Wilson are over this free kick. Wilson will take, it looks like. He will. Swung in with the left foot. Headed clear, not fully cleared, and the shot off balance from Oscar Bob is directed wide. Brentford have had some chances today. Jensen, can they snatch it late here, Brentford, tonight, despite Fulham's attempts to keep them at bay? Lewis Potter runs into trouble, but he works his hardest to win it back, and then the foul is actually given against Keane Lewis Potter here. It's going to be a Fulham free kick. Less than 2 minutes of the 96 to go. It's got to be a moment. It's got to be now. Or have we already seen our moment? Nico Thiago was the target there, headed away from his path. Anderson, ball flicked forward again by Brentford, and Joachim Anderson blocked it from the Ouattara header towards Igor Thiago. Last minute of the game. Now or never to win it. Remember, a win would take Brentford up to 6th and 2 ahead of Chelsea before they play against United later. Win for Fulham would take them level on points with Brentford. Fulham will get the throw in here. The clock continues to tick away. Remember I told you earlier about that record for Brentford of drawing 4 league matches in a row. The last time they drew 5 league matches in a row was 1957. 69 years ago. That long ball down the line, last few seconds. Lewis Potter hooks it up the field. Is there one more chance? No, there's not. The final whistle goes at the Gtech, and it's a goalless draw between these two. A point apiece, but really, you could argue 2 points drops for both teams and their ambitions. It really doesn't help either team, this draw. Ultimately, Brentford do stay 7th, a point ahead of Everton, level on points with Chelsea, right in the mix. For Fulham, they remain 3 points adrift of the top 6, but it is 1 point closer than they were at the start of the day. So that's a little positive they can take from it. But they remain 12th and outside of the top half. A difficult day for both teams really in front of goal. Lack of quality in the final third has let them down. But surely the game came down to that chance for Dango Ouattara that was quite wonderfully saved by Bernd Leno. That was probably the moment that Brentford had to win it. And they've had a couple of chances today, Brentford, in front of goal in that second half. But ultimately on the day, it's a day for the goalkeepers, Caoimhan Kelleher and Bernd Leno, both keeping clean sheets. And at the end of the day, all they can say is at worst, it's a point apiece. Final score at the Gtech in this West London derby, it's Brentford 0, Fulham 0. So, game 1 down of the weekend, and still we wait our first goal of the weekend in the Premier League. Leeds Wolves and Newcastle Bournemouth is 3 o'clock kickoffs, an evening game double-header. Spurs take on Brighton at 5:30 and Chelsea face Manchester United at 8 o'clock. Then tomorrow at Aston Villa face Sunderland, Liverpool head to Everton, Nottingham Forest face Burnley, and of course Manchester City Arsenal at 4:30 before you round off the weekend with another London derby as Crystal Palace take on West Ham. That City Arsenal game tomorrow at 4:30, our game of the week, and we can't wait to bring that to you because the run-in is very much underway.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
And the run-in continues across the weekend here in LFS. 5 games in 5 days over the next couple, and it will all conclude on Wednesday as we kick off the run-in at the end of the season. Not the way we would have wanted to kick off the run-in with a 0-0 draw, but in the end Brentford and Fulham 1 point closer to possible European football for them. We'll see how the weekend shakes out. We'll be back tomorrow at 4:30 for City Arsenal. For now, thanks for your company. We'll see you again tomorrow.